The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on and they get.
He missed the complete. That is crazy
Side by
stuff.
side, Freitas is on the grass on the infield before. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
And good evening, race fans. I'm Adam Young. South Boston Speedway and the Premier Racing League welcome you to the SoBo 150. We look forward to 150 laps of V8 pick-em-up truck short track bull ring action. Joining me tonight, the lumberjack Sean Ambrose and the man behind the curtain running the show, Joe Peak. He'll be using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. We last saw you in Thunder Valley, and tonight it gets an even shorter way around a circuit with a trip to South Boston, Virginia, with the season in the final stretch. These short tracks can pay big dividends or eliminate any chance you have at a championship altogether. Tonight, America's hometown track will bring out the best the PRL has to offer. Sean, why don't you tell us a little bit more about Old SoBo?
Well, Adam, they once called this old joint Big Daddy South Boston Speedway. But don't be confused by this 4/10 mile speedway, because it doesn't take long to get around here. With 12-degree turns and 10-degree straights, this track will keep you leaning left for 150 laps tonight. Heavy right side tire wear will be a factor, and drivers will be smart. Take them every chance they get at them. Now, why don't we hop on board the GSRC Chevy Silverado for a really quick trip around South Boston Speedway.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Global Sim Racing channel. I'm Brian Yazek, taking you for a spin today around South Boston in the GSRC Chevrolet Silverado. Here we go, off of turn 4, get out there right up next to the wall, and you're going to be on the brakes really quickly right after the start-finish line, looking for the truck to really rotate here through the middle, drive it kind of straight off the corner, make sure it doesn't get up into the wall, back down here into turn 3, find that yellow line and find the groove, kind of get back on the gas on that line there across the track, and then no matter which way you go in the race qualifying, you're going to be seeing guys hunting this bottom groove, maybe up in the middle in 1 and 2, just a hair, but not much. Down here into 3 and 4, find the yellow line. That's where you're going to want to be. Onto the gas, swinging out here towards the line, and that's going to complete our very quick guide here around South Boston. I'm Brian Yazek. Enjoy the show.
And that's a couple really quick laps around South Boston Speedway. These guys here tonight are running laps anywhere from about 14 and a half to 15 and a half seconds. So very, very quick speeds here at a 4/10 of a mile track. Now, with here tonight, we're deep now into the last third of the season. This is going to be round 22 of 31. That's going to be 150 laps here that we're going to go around this place tonight. That's going to total about 60 miles. Now, remember, these guys do run fixed setups, and there are no fast repairs, so you have to take care of your equipment. But a lot like what we saw at Bristol last time, you know, sometimes you don't hit things hard enough to end your race, but it can definitely affect the handling of your pickup truck if you end up hitting the wall or hitting other competitors one too many times. And of course, weather here tonight about 78 degrees under partly cloudy skies at night in South Boston. All right, so halfway at lap 75, the drivers will get bonus points for being in the top 10. That's always a focus of ours here on these GSRC broadcasts for the Premier Racing League. And with that said, Sean, let's think about what we might see here for tonight as far as who would be one of the guys you're going to be keeping an eye on, I guess.
Boy, Jeff Ward's here. So Scott Eckrich. Eckrich is in the field tonight and it's actually going to run. So that being said, you got Jeff Ward, Scott Eckrich, and so I'll go ahead and take Brian Yazek. I'm going to keep my eyes on him. I think he's got a chance to win this one tonight.
So what you're saying is Brian Yazek's your woodshed pick?
I think we will call him my woodshed pick, yes.
All right. Well, Brian Yazek, of course, sitting second in the points right now. He's only about 7 points behind James Krahula. So very tight point battle. And they got to remember, they got Timothy Dalton, only 46 points behind him. Now, the thing with Yazek here for tonight is, did I say Timothy Dalton? I meant Tyler Dalton. I should know that by now. But James Krahula is not here tonight, so this could very well be a very big points night for Yazek and Dalton. You got the likes of Randy Thompson back there, Jeff Gow, Tim Johnston, and I think that's where I kind of got the Tim from a few minutes ago. And I said, Randy, man, I am on a roll with names tonight. Rick Thompson. So there's a very tight points battle through the middle part of the top 10 as well to be keeping an eye on with guys. Some of those guys not here tonight, so big points to be gained.
Yeah, well, and Krahula really stands to lose the most. I mean, he's only 7 points ahead of Brian Yazek. Yazek looks, short of some sort of catastrophe for Yazek, he looks certain to take that race away from Krahula. Yazek's got 15 top 10s this season. He's a monster in this truck, and he's certainly going to be tough to beat, at least tough to keep off the podium. You look at the battle back behind Yazek, Tyler Dalton there in third. It's a long way back from him. The top three are pretty solid. It's a long way back to Rick Thompson and the rest of the group there, all battling for this points championship. But man, old SoBo tonight is going to really, really be a test for these drivers. This track, nothing easy about getting around here. You get off of turn 4, you run out of track real quick. That wall comes up very, very quickly. Same thing with the exit of turn 2. 4, a little bit more extreme. Certainly a lot of experience here in the SK Modifieds. Everybody likes to grab their own little piece of concrete coming off of turn 4. We've seen races on the very last lap fighting to the checkered flag ended for competitors just recently here, coming off that turn 4. So you definitely want to be the man of the inside. We'll definitely see side-by-side racing here this evening. These trucks are heavy. They will throw down the rubber on track, and there will be rubber to play with and find grip there on top. As right now we watch Yazek going around on his
literally
lap, his second one, and it looks like maybe only the one lap is going to be the one that gets him here in position. That was a 15 flat his first lap, and that'll be the one that sets him currently in 5th on the qualifying grid.
And you mentioned Yazik with 15 top 10s. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention that Tyler Dalton also has 15 top 10s. But I think the differences are, of course, Yazik's visited victory lane 4 times here this season, where Tyler Dalton has not. He hasn't been there once yet, and he does look a little strong here tonight, so he'll be somebody to watch out for. But when things have gone wrong for Tyler Dalton here this season, they've really gone wrong, where Yazik has been able to really overcome some adversity, and I think that's right now that 39-point difference between the two of them is that overcoming the adversity.
Yeah, and you know what? There could be a lot of adversity here at Old SoBo tonight. So I guess, in our pre-race meeting we talked about the likelihood of this turning into a caution fest. I don't know that it will be. I mean, we've only got 19 trucks currently registered, and I think one of them, I'm not even so sure if he's going to run. I know Scott Eckridge is here. He did practice, but I don't know if he's going to go up to the race control and sit there, if he's actually going to come out and run this evening. Has not taken a time yet in qualifying as we watch Paul Pepper go around. His first lap disqualified. Let's see that second lap. Ooh, that second lap was a big one, Adam. That put him up to second.
Huge.
Travis
huge,
McQuiston.
I say, huge.
Yes, Travis McQuiston going to come out for a lap now.
Yeah, and all he has is 1 lap left. I think he did end up setting so he didn't set a time, but I do believe this is technically his second lap, so he might only get 1 hot lap here. We'll have to see what he can do. He was 10th on the speed charts for practice. We'll see what he can do here in qualifying.
Oh, and look who just joined us.
Yeah, so we'll see if James Grahula is able to hop in a truck here for this evening. So that has big points implications. We weren't expecting him to be here, so hopefully we can see him.
That was a decent effort there from McQuiston. He goes to 5th, and that was a 14.9 for him getting around here.
Yeah, that's about, I believe, 0.006 of a second better than what he was practicing with as far as his speed. All right, so nobody is on track. They do have a couple minutes left in the session, but I do think everybody's at least attempted, or if they have attempted, that's going to be what they're going to do. So I think it is safe to say that we can award the NP3 Designs Pole Award to Jeff Ward with a time of 14.758. Very, very quick lap from Mr. Ward here on the South Boston Speedway. Trying to find the replay of that lap. See if we have it.
We're going to catch him coming off.
There he is. All right, so he's on pit road. We'll see him roll off here. We'll see what a 14.758 second lap looks like here around South Boston, with that Loud Pedal Motorsports machine. Now, I think you have a little bit more experience here, Sean, than what I do. Talk us around here.
Well, you want to get this truck planted right down there on that yellow line, just the inside, right where he's at there, and you want to find that grip off, get it right up near the wall, and then back down onto that line. That's where the grip is down there. Maybe even use a little bit of that yellow to get some more grip, but that's the quickest way around this track, and like I said, you want to let it roll out to the wall. That the fine line is not hitting that wall. Now, in race trim, you can use that wall a little bit to your advantage as long as you don't hit it too hard. These trucks will take a little bit of damage on the right side, but Jeff Ward gets around there without any contact, and he does it in a very, very fast fashion with a 14.758. That will definitely get it done for the pole tonight.
Well, we've got a minute here, Sean, so let me ask you something else, too, as far as your experience around here. When I was watching practice, I saw a lot of guys actually using the apron just a little bit, going below the yellow line in the corners. How often are we going to see that here tonight, or is that just going to chew up the tires way too much?
Well, you're certainly getting into your tires going down there, but it's not off limits, and there is some grip down there. That's a good spot to maybe get a nose in on somebody and take a position away. We'll see him work that this evening for sure.
All right, well, hold up. Breaking news. James Grahula on the track. We're going to see what he can do here.
No, he's done.
Okay, so...
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah, all right, so he has set his lap. James Grahula unexpectedly showing up here for tonight when he is going to qualify on the grid in 7th. Okay, so Jeff Ward's NP3 Designs Pole Award is safe from James Grahula here for tonight. All right, so with that, I do believe I see the Virginia National Guard coming onto the track to present the nation's colors. All right, so South Boston Speedway getting ready to kick off the SoBo 150 here in just a couple of minutes. We're about 30 seconds away from the session, qualifying session officially ending, and then, of course, we'll get into the race and see the trucks grid up here in just a moment. All right, so you talk about Yazik now. We weren't expecting Krahula to be here tonight, so him being here, it's kind of thrown a curveball. Does that change your woodshed pick at all, Sean?
No. I won't leave you hanging like that, buddy. No, I don't. I really don't think it does. It's time for Yazik to get a win again. And I just have a feeling tonight. I don't know what. Call me crazy or stupid, one or the other. Certainly, even both. But I just have a feeling about Yazik tonight. He's going to hate that I picked him. Most guys, I've come to find out, really hate it when I pick him. So maybe it's time to burn down the woodshed and stop making picks. I don't know. But I certainly like the way Yazik gets around short tracks. We'll see. Still not really sure if Scott Eckridge is going to get in a run. If the grid is filling up now. Honestly, if Eckridge is in this race, then I like his chances to crawl through the field, but he's going to start 20th if he's in here. I probably should have sent him a message and said, hey, man, are you running or not? But we'll see. But now I really think your man tonight is going to be him. Let's go to the grid here, Adam.
Yeah, so Jeff Ward, of course, starting on the pole in that Loud Pedal Motorsports machine. Paul Pepper going to be starting alongside him.
All right, and then it's going to be Jeff Gow and Rick Thompson in the U.S. Air Force Silver Toyota this evening.
I still need to remember to send him my Air Force Thunderbirds helmet that I like to wear and see if he wants to run that. Travis McQuestion and Tyler Dalton will make up row 3. Tyler Dalton, of course, sitting third in the points.
And James Krahula and Brian Yazik will complete row 4.
And, of course, those guys are 1-2 in the points and starting alongside each other. Jonathan Lawrence and John Rodden. John Rodden we don't see too much of here. At least I don't believe we do, and he'll be starting in row 5.
All right, and then in row 6, it's going to be Justin Rodden and Snoop Doggy Don Runkle in the Ray Hendrick flying double op.
All right, so from here, Woodrow Mahan, Brad Collins, Jeff Ryan. We don't think Scott Eckridge is in the field. Bob Mikas, Fred Thompson, John Wilco, and Stephen Herring, I believe, make up the rest of the field. So 19 trucks on the grid. We're getting ready to go green. Jeff Ward looking for that pace car to pull off. It's a very tight pit entrance, so that pace car is going to take a very hard left. There it goes. Jeff Ward on the gas. He's going to get a good jump over Paul Pepper going into 1. He's going to take sole command of first place already going through 1 and 2, but Paul Pepper is not too far behind. He's going to be looking to try to see if Jeff Ward can make a mistake here early and try to get out front. Now, obviously, being a short track, clean air probably isn't going to be the big factor here, but the fact is that for the most part, it's a single lane racetrack here right at the start, isn't it, Sean? But we should expect the top lane to open up, right? It
is, and boy, I'm watching Yazik right now. He's having some connection issues right now. Not good for him. He's stuck up on the outside. Tyler Dalton got around, got under him. Now James Krahula having to manage that. Not used to seeing Yazik having the trouble he's having right now, but boy, that's going to be really, really tricky for his competitors as he sends it there into the turn up on that high line.
Yeah, right now Yazik is probably the one that wants a caution the most here, an early caution, just to maybe get those connection issues settled. Meanwhile, up front, Jeff Ward does make a little bit of a mistake. Paul Pepper gets a look inside, but isn't able to do anything with it. But, man, he is right there at this point.
Yeah, and they're still battling here at the back of the field. As you see, Don Runkle right now side by side. And that's going to be Brad Collins now finally getting around him. Runkle going to make another stab at it. Whoa, coming out of 2. Almost makes contact with that left rear quarter panel there, but avoids it. Collins gets the position up to 12th.
Well, there you go. For the most part, everybody else is single file, except we get back here to Yazik. It looks like Yazik still blinking a little bit, but he's at least still staying competitive, still running exactly where he started. Well, actually, bump him up 1. He's going to go to 6th position. James Krahula is right behind him. He's the only one that seems like so far is effectively using that outside lane.
Not surprised at that at all. We've seen Krahula certainly use strategy, different lines in the past, So not entirely shocked. If the outside groove is going to come in, it's going to take drivers like James Grahula to get it worked in. Guys have got to work up there and lay that rubber down. Yazik's still doing that also, and well, no big surprise, Grahula is following him.
And you can already see that if we stay caution-free, the laps will just click off here for tonight. We're already 1/15th through the race, I guess is one way of looking at that. As right now, the battle on your screen between Rick Thompson and Jeff Gow up there right now running in 3rd and 4th position. They have been about the same distance between the two. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Yazik trying to pick up this position on Travis McQuistion right now. They almost made contact. Now Yazik goes back to the top side. He took a couple of looks at McQuistion there and then decided to get back up to the upper groove there and continue to fight from up top. And, you know, actually, to McQuistion's credit, he's kind of running center of the track, not really running down there on the bottom right now. And I see just behind them, Grahula has started to drop to the bottom.
Yeah, so different lines already playing out here, and I can see what you mean there, but with Travis McQuistion, and it seems like that's a good defensive line to try to run here. I mean, you're either going to make somebody go really high or really low, and of course, one thing with James Grahula, if you look back there, just a couple trucks, we've seen him doing what I was talking about a little while ago. He's getting down below that yellow line already.
Yes, he is, and you'll see him do it right here as they come off of turn 4. Grahula going to just use up as much of that track as he can, and he's battling down there hard, trying to get under Yazik now.
Travis McQuistion better be careful here. They might try to split him.
Yeah, 3 wide here at SoBo. Boy, I'll tell you, that's not optimal.
You might be able to do that, I think, through the middle part of the corner, but it's the exit of these corners when they really narrow up. I think that'd be what would get you there, right?
Yeah, definitely. It just does really, really narrow down as they come off the exit of 2 and 4. Like I said, almost even a little bit more extreme at turn 4, but this side-by-side battle can't last long.
And while this has been going on, right in front of them, Jeff Gow is kind of falling back into this group here a little bit too. So you're going to have a 4-car battle here for 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th positions. And Jeff Gow might be the slowest one out of all 4 of those guys here at this point, kind of falling off just a little bit. Speeds have already dropped by roughly about a second from where we are at the start of the race. You see Travis McQuistion go right around Jeff Gow, and James Grahula is going to get a little bit stuck behind him right now. Jeff Gow's truck really seems like it's fallen off.
He's struggling. He really is struggling at him, and might have used up a little bit too much of those tires here in the first 20 laps. Now Grahula trying to navigate, making the pass and pulling it off. He does. Can he hold that through the center of the turn and on the exit? Grahula does and gets himself there in front of Gow cleanly. Now he can get back to work on Yazik and McQuistion here in front of him.
And we don't need to go up front, but we just let our audience know we're not missing anything up front. The difference is still the same between Jeff Ward and Paul Pupper up there as they're working their way through lap traffic. This is still the battle on the racetrack. Here is McQuistion has Yazik almost underneath him. There's a lap truck now of Fred Thompson that they're trying to work around, Senator Fred Thompson.
Yeah, Fred and the KFC Toyota is struggling just a bit. The Speed Mafia machine a little bit off this evening. Lets them get by, though, cleanly. It was a good job by Fred. Here comes Jeff Gow now working it in down on the bottom, on board with Grahula here.
Oh, Yazik is loose. Slaps the inside wall.
That's going to leave a mark.
Yeah, he tweaked. He's got 4 corners of the truck tweaked.
Yes, he does. That's not going to be any fun to drive. Let's watch it on the replay here. It looks like he gets tight at him.
Yeah, he gets tight, and I think he just loses it right off the corner, tries to save it, and the inside wall helps him save it. He ultimately only loses 1 spot to James Grahula, but now he's really fighting a loose truck off, and I don't think the damage is helping with that. He might have bent something.
Wow.
So our first real big incident of the night obviously doesn't result in a caution, but that's your second in points right there. Only 7 points behind, being behind James Krahula in the points, and Krahula at this point is getting away from him. Caution on the speedway.
Oh, on the yellow side. Oh, looks like it was old Woody Mahan there. A little bit of trouble coming off of 4. He might have gotten a little bit of help there.
Yeah, a little bit of contact there with Brad Collins, and now if we talked about Yazik hit slapping that inside wall, Woodrow Mahan kind of glitched the inside wall there.
Yeah,
weird contact.
There's a little hole in the wall right there at the start-finish line, and Woodrow's like, we're going to watch this on board here with Brad Collins. Watch the left front of Woodrow Mahan's truck. He hits that little hole, and it just pops the truck up into the air. I don't know if that's a glitch, though, because he definitely took some damage from it.
Yeah, that's for sure. So we're starting to see our first round of pit stops here. Jeff Ward on, Paul Pepper on. Got a couple guys taking the wave around here, including, I think, that actually might be our... No, okay, he wouldn't be the lucky dog. Just trying to figure out who that is, because I know that we had one here.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely going to have...
Brutus is sitting patiently in the kennel waiting for his order to come out.
Brutus is going to be very busy this evening, yes. Well, if we get more cautious, I got to admit,
okay,
that was a nice start.
Fred Thompson, I think, ended up being your lucky dog there.
Okay, well, let's give it to Fred Thompson.
So at the very least, he's back on the lead lap here. So Brutus and the Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog waiting around Fred Thompson here. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with Fred here, but anyway, so with
That's
that,
all right.
And we do want to mention, obviously, we didn't really get a chance to do it in the pre-race show. Just want to mention that our thoughts and prayers here from GSRC going to communities in southern Florida being impacted by Irma here tonight. Obviously, in the Houston area as well, still dealing with the after effects of Harvey. So just want to, if any of you folks out there have internet connection, you're taking some time off from the stress to be able to watch a little bit of racing here on GSRC, we definitely appreciate it, and just want to let you know that we are thinking about you guys here for tonight. Very, very dangerous situation still down there in Florida.
All right, Adam, get ready to call it, buddy. The lights are out. Here we go.
All right, so lights are off on the pace car. Jeff Ward is away. He punches the throttle early. Hey, that looked a lot like his race start. He is away once again, and Paul Pepper is out there, and already a caution on the speedway. See an accident down the front stretch.
Yeah, Jeff Gow had trouble on the restart there. It looks like he maybe missed a shift or something.
And Don Runkle is letting us know that we need to ride on board with him here in a second. Watching Bob Mikas. 92 truck gets turned. Oh, big contact for Bob Mikas.
Yeah.
I think the joke that Sean likes to make about my team's cars being made of wood is that we'll just replace some wood paneling, but I think Bob Mikas' truck's going to need a little bit more than that here for tonight.
Yeah. Afraid so. All right, on board. Oh, boy, on board with Snoop Doggy down there. You see him, he spins the tires down. It wasn't a missed shift, it was a tire spin that sends Gow around, and man, Don just avoided him. And let's see, we go on board with Jeff Ryan in the Mountain Dew number 88 there. I think he's got an interesting perspective that we haven't seen yet. There we go. There's Jeff. He's up on that top side here, Adam.
Yeah, coming to the restart right here, I believe.
Oh boy, and he just gets by, but not without damage. He doesn't get by, unfortunately. Runs right into him. So Bobby took it from several directions there. That's going to leave him in the pits for probably quite a bit there, getting repair on that Chevy Silverado, the Captain Morgan machine he was rolling out here this evening.
and trying to figure out, because I know that we had a lucky dog. Sometimes these really short tracks can sometimes be a little bit of a pain as far as the lucky dog. But I think I found him. I think Stephen Herring is your Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog here this time around. And so we'll bring Brutus out one more time. I have a feeling, Brutus, don't get too comfortable in your kennel tonight, buddy. We're going to be seeing you quite a bit with the Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog here at South Boston Speedway this evening. Stephen Herring already quite a bit of damage also on that front end of that Toyota Tundra.
Coastal Safety Auditors, your one-stop shop for fire, life, and safety equipment, Adam. All right, so Jeff Ward going to get ready to start him again here, buddy.
Well, here, one thing, too, that our director, Joe Peak, did, in fact, catch on pretty quickly. You know, he's a fast learner. That cautions breed cautions. And here we are. We've already had 2 right in a row. The lights are going to go off in the pace car. I am a firm believer that, like with some other things in life, that cautions try to come in 3s at short tracks like this. So we'll have to see if we're able to get away with the clean start here once again. Going down the backstretch, heading towards turns 3 and 4. I'm actually looking at Paul Pepper, just blinked a little bit right there, so we'll have to make sure his connection ends up being okay. As they're forming up in the back part of the field. Pace car's away. Jeff Ward on the loud pedal in the loud pedal motorsports machine. He is away once again. Great jump out of him. And then Paul Pepper's going to slot right there into second. But a little bit of bumping going on between Rick Thompson and Travis McQuistion. I think pretty incidental contact right there, but there was contact nonetheless. Travis McQuistion making a very strong play on third right now.
He is doing it from the top side, too. Kind of trying to leave Rick Thompson back there, and he does. He finally pulls off that pass completely. Now Rick Thompson going to have to fend off James Carula just behind him. Stephen Herring actually bringing his truck down into pit lane. Not sure exactly what happened there.
You're already seeing, all right, so now we got Tyler Dalton, Brad Collins, and Lawrence on your screen there, but we're looking at Yazik now. Yazik back to that high line, trying to do something with it right there behind the 67 machine of Brad Collins. And starting to see some guys try to follow him up there a little bit. That's Don Runkle Jr. up there in that 00.
Yep, Don trying to get into this race, trying to be a contender. He's in 10th, battling hard here early. I say early, we've almost completed a third of this race, Adam. We're just about there, 5 laps to go.
Yeah, that long green flag stretch right at the beginning did help, but we did see quite a bit of tire fall off once we got to about that 25 lap mark, so we'll have to see once these guys get a little bit more lap on their tires how loose these trucks become. And that could be the difference between a lot of guys having a good night and a lot of guys having a bad night here for it this evening. Already so far, I believe we've got 2, maybe 3 trucks that have already decided to call it a night here. So right now running with 16 trucks at South Boston Speedway.
Yeah, we've got a couple behind the wall. Unfortunately, Bobby Mikas decides to call it a night, and so did Jeff Gow, unfortunately. I think that's the only 2 we've lost. Woody Mahan decided to get his back on track.
Okay, so my apologies, and I missed old Woodrow Mahan being able to get that car back out there. So now the leaders are starting to come back up on lap traffic already. You got the Stephen Herring machine that is really beat up. These guys are going to be on him here in no time. And right now up front, Paul Pepper, that was the best look that I've seen Paul Pepper get here since the restart, but he's still pretty far back there off the back bumper of Jeff Ward, but he's maintaining the distance. So Paul Pepper's got himself a pretty strong truck here tonight.
Yeah, well, Paul Pepper has been doing a bit of racing in that truck this weekend. I've seen a couple of posts from him actually bragging about his prowess in the truck. So let's see what the Canadian can do here tonight. Bring the fight to Jeff Ward.
Lap traffic there did not play a role, at least initially. They got a little while before they catch anyone else. So with that gap maintaining itself, really everybody else for the most part is side by side, just trying to work around the lap truck of Stephen Herring here. Closest battle on the racetrack. Actually, we haven't talked about him yet tonight. Let's go back to John Wilco and Don Runkle back here. John Wilco having himself a pretty a decent night so far. We don't. Sometimes it's the short tracks is better. We don't talk about you. And John Wilco's having himself that kind of night here so far.
All right, and a report from the pits that Jeff Gow is still here, and a little less than a minute of repair left, so he did not actually go behind the wall. So Gow getting that truck repaired, and there he goes, coming out of the pits. Good job, Jeff. Way to hang with it, buddy.
Just looking for a good opportunity to come on and play in that very story from Jeff Gow. All right, so I think the next battle on the racetrack is trying to shape up. We're looking at Yazik right over top of Rick Thompson. I think Rick Thompson's going to let him have that position. It looked like he slowed up just a little bit on corner entry. And Yazik is going to retain 6th position and try to set his sights on Tyler Dalton. Now, Yazik did have contact with the wall earlier. It looks like after the pit stop, his truck may not be too bad off. Have you noticed anything out of him here, Sean? Caution on the speed.
Oh, boy, and I noticed contact there between Woody Mahan and the 88. A little bit of trouble out there.
Looks like they were in the process of trying to get around that lap vehicle of Stephen Herring. And Wintram Mahan kind of gets caught up behind him. And then that 3 wide on the exit of the corner, what we talked about a few minutes ago, it did not end well for Mr. Mahan.
Now, I'll tell you what, here's a reason it's important for Jeff Gow to get back in this race. He's right in the middle of this points battle. Okay?
Absolutely.
And we talked about he's sitting there 5th, and he was only 2 points behind Rick Thompson and only 6 points in front of Johnston. So, I mean, really, it pays big dividends. There's that word again, dividends, for him to get back out here and race this race to the finish. So, good on him. Looks like we've got a lot of takers on pit road. Basically, most of the field coming down now and getting 4 fresh ones and fuel, although Paul Pepper, 2 tires.
Well, we'll have to see. And that's obviously maybe a track position play there to try to get him in front of Jeff Ward. If you're going to try it, now would be the time to try it since we're still a little bit shy of halfway. All right, so while the field gets circled back around, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We'll be right back. And welcome back to South Boston Speedway. Lights are off on the pace car. We're getting ready to go back to racing. Hey, that's at least one thing about South Boston. The cautions, they're pretty quick. But we're going to start with the new face up front with Paul Pepper. Paul Pepper, a little bit of a gambling man here right now. Taking a little bit of strategy to take that lead away from Jeff Ward. He's on 2 tires. He gets a good jump. No wheel spin out of that thing. He's away and in the lead with Jeff Ward taking sole command of 2nd. But he's still got Yazik and Travis McQuiston running side by side.
Boy, look at that jump he got.
Jeff Ward gets a little tight right there.
Yeah, he was struggling in the middle of the turn there. McQuiston gets up under him. Still under him.
Oh, look, contact! Jeff Ward's around.
Yep, Tyler Dalton's going to hit him.
A little bit of contact. I don't think that's going to be anything too bad for Jeff Ward, other than the loss of positions as he rolls off the front end of Travis McQuestion's number 93 truck.
Yeah, that's a tough deal right there. I mean, it's just all fighting for the same bit of real estate there.
Yeah, that's a classic one guy drifts up and one guy drifts down type of scenario right there. Exactly.
Yeah, just the nature of short track racing right there. I don't know if you can really just overly blame one or the other. In fact, I think both have just kind of said, hey, no problem, let's just move on. don't worry, Jeff Ward can come back to this field.
And I'll say that Tyler Dalton, we're going to ride along with him here. He actually ended up, I think, with the worst damage out of everybody here is the front end of his Silverado. After getting into the back of Travis McQuistion and into the side of Jeff Ward, his front end is pretty crumpled up now.
And obviously that's where you don't want to take the damage is on the front end. The radiator is right there. That's where your cooling is at. You mess up that front end and you could be dealing with an ill-handling truck, or even worse, a truck that's running hot, whether it be the oil or the water, and then you wind up with a tanked motor at some point, and coming back from those is never easy. Generally about a 40 to 45 minute repair.
Right, and one thing to note out of all that, Brian Yazek has found his way back up to second place. Now, Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog that time around the 88 truck of Jeff Ryan. So he was able to take the weight in that Mountain Dew Motorsports machine. Now we'll see if he's able to get off the pit road and still retain getting his lap back here, but looks like he will. So Jeff Ryan, the Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog this time around. As I mentioned, Brutus, don't get too comfortable. We're only about 6 laps away from halfway here at South Boston Speedway, and this is the points battle this tight here, Sean. Of course, in multiple different groups, even within the top 10. I mean, it seems like first through third are in a tight point battle, fourth through about 6 are in a tight point battle, and then 7th going down to 10th are in a tight point battle. So these top 10 positions here and top 10 bonus points are going to be a pretty big deal, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's going to be a very, very big deal. And I'll tell you what, I like what Paul Pepper did there on that decision to take just 2 the last time. It got him position, obviously. That's where he wants to be. Where's Jeff Ward now? He's all the way at the back of the field. So Paul Pepper up here, new face at the front, and he's going to get the fight with Yazek and McQuistion and Krahula behind him. Krahula is still in this mix, hanging on. Guy shows up 3 minutes before we get ready to race, and he's a contender to win it.
Yeah, as you can see, these guys are back going once again under green. Paul Pepper is able to slide up in front of Yazek, but Yazek trusting that high line. He's been trusting it most of the night, and that continues on here. We got a truck around. Oh, truck over. Big wreck on the front straightaway. That's the 67 truck there of Brad Collins on his roof.
And he eventually sticks the landing, but man, this is a mess. And we said the cautions breed cautions. Here we go.
See what happens. I think it makes contact. Don Runkle Jr. a little bit of the tap, sends him right around. I can't see who got into him from that point to send him on his lid, but wild ride for Brad Collins.
Yeah, I mean, Don's running down there on the bottom, got a little bit of a run at him. Car started to come up just a little bit. He makes slight contact, but that's all it takes on these short tracks. And remember, we've got 12 degrees of banking down there in the turn. It's flat and then it goes straight up. So you get in the middle of that transition. It's very, very hard to manage that. Can't always know what the truck is going to do when you start to make that transition back up into the banking.
Right, we're going to light on board here with John Rodney. You're going to get a pretty good view of what happens here. We take the green. We're going through, I believe this is 3 and 4 right here. We'll see the contact, and you see the accident happen in front of him. And once again, another time today, you're going to see a real good look at the bottom end of a NASCAR Truck Series vehicle. So of course we had one get upside down the Absolute Beginners League race earlier today. So there we go. There's your leaderboard for the top 10, and I believe with everything that happened, also Fred Thompson returns to the lead lap after being 2 laps down, thanks to a combination of pit strategy and now also receiving the lucky dog. So Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog for this caution goes to Fred Thompson.
Coastal Safety Auditors, your one-stop shop for fire, life, and safety equipment. Congratulations to him getting that and getting finally back on the lead lap. We were talking about what's going on with Irma down there in Florida. A lot of iRacers. We know so many iRacers from so many different series that are being affected by this right now, and our thoughts out to them as well. Several of my iRacing friends from some of the other leagues we broadcast for were on, posting pictures today and checking in with us. So glad to hear from them. Here we go.
And there, you're right. We're about ready to go back to green here. We're going to give those folks, if they're out there watching, a good green flag run here, hopefully. Paul Pepper is away once again. He's not entirely able to clear Yazik this time around. He is really fighting there off of 2. He's able to finally clear him, but Yazik continues to fight back on the high side. We're seeing Travis McQuistion almost running that same line now as Yazik. He might be able to try to get Paul Pepper here.
Yeah.
He gets his nose out just in front. Paul Pepper gets the better drive off, but he can't get up to the wall. He can't get that momentum built up at this point.
Well, Yazik even using a little bit of assistance from that wall, getting off the turn to keep the truck straight. And boy, he's taking the fight to Paul Pepper right now, big time. Man, they're right up on each other. It's all about winning that drag race down this short straight.
And he might get the lap here led. He does. He's the first one to the line. So give that lap to Brian Yazik, and he might even be able to clear Paul Pepper here.
And
there he goes. Okay, so it was great for Paul Pepper to get out in the lead and get away from some of that trouble, but now I think those old left side tires are starting to play a role with Paul Pepper here, as he's going to be worried about getting ate up by Travis McQuistion next. He's going to experiment a little bit, I think, and maybe try going with a higher entry. It looked like that last time around.
Yeah, Paul would be wise to just follow Yazik at this point, and that, I really think that's his way to get around this track. Is the leaders now come through. Steve Herring getting on the radio saying he's going to be up there in that top groove, let everybody by. Paul Pepper starting to lose ground though here to Yazik pretty quick.
Yeah, I think that was a great strategy for the short term, but not so much for the long term. But that's part of playing a strategy move like that, not even halfway through the race, is that you can you've got time to make it up for later on. It might be something worth trying if you get a caution with about 5 laps to go. And speaking of caution on the speedway.
Yeah, and you know what? I think Paul Pepper's had a connection issue, as he disappeared off my screen just before that. Something happened with Pepper there.
Trying to find, I think John Rodden was the one that got around and caused that caution.
Watching it now. Right in the racing line there, coming off the turn. He spins it. Trying to get an update from Paul Pepper.
Sums up with Paul Pepper. He's on pit road. When he reappeared, his truck was against the wall on the inside.
Maybe he'll...
and he got on the radio saying something about somebody, so I don't know if anybody was ever able to actually see him or not. Yeah, he ended up against the inside wall with quite a bit of damage.
You know what, Adam, I just realized?
What's that?
We missed the MP3.
We missed halfway.
Yeah, we did. We missed the American Pool Supply Halfway Award, and feeling pretty bad about that right now. It does not go to Don Runkle, I can tell you that. I'll recover that information and tell you here in just a minute. Adam, go.
All right, so we'll get that. And that's the thing. Sometimes with some of these short tracks, the racing is that hard and that intense, and that's what we're seeing here tonight. That sometimes things like that happen. So I guess if you can forgive me for missing it, Sean, I can forgive you. And maybe we'll just blame Joe on the side over here.
It's the nature of this short track racing, man. It was Brian Yazik, by the way. So Brian Yazik going to get the American Pool Supply Halfway Award, and congratulations to him. Those are much needed points.
Now we'll see if we were talking about that damage earlier on. It obviously hasn't impacted his race hardly at all, at least since it happened. So Yazik has himself a very strong truck. As we're starting to see these guys form back up. Now, this race has really taken on a different feel here in the last 50 laps. Now Jeff Ward is still somewhere back there. You also got
Ward is leading this
Ward's
race.
back up front. Okay,
And
I
he's
thought that
on
was
the
Yazik
hammer.
up front. He's on the hammer. He's away. Wow, that's on me. And then James Krahula now behind him. So Krahula fighting for second right alongside Travis McQuestion. I saw the blue truck, and I thought Yazik was still up there.
No, actually, Jeff Ward does it with a little bit of strategy. Takes 2 tires there on that pit stop. Just behind him, Krahula and McQuestion going at it, man.
We gotta see if something happened to Yazik here, because he ended up 2 laps down out of all that.
I'm going to go back and check on him.
Oh, okay. Hold on. We missed something big on that last. I found it. We missed something big at the tail end of that last yellow when John Rodden was getting himself straightened back out. He backed up right into the path of Brian Yazik. Our apologies for missing that, because that obviously changes the complexion of this race, but very serious damage on the front end of Brian Yazik's truck from that, and now he is 2 laps down after contact with John Rodden. That's where the side of John Rodden's truck got all messed up at, is from contact with Brian Yazik.
We're so worried about the halfway award there that we just didn't see it. Totally overlooked it.
So now the complexion of the race continues to change, but now the one constant has been that was a little bit closer to the start of the race for most of the first half of the race, with Jeff Ward up in the lead, while he has returned to the lead after getting spun himself. So it very well could be a spin and win if he's able to pull it off. Travis McQuestion second. Now you got Don Ronco Jr. on your screen now, and he is only about 3/10 of a second off Jonathan Lawrence, trying to chase him down for 6th position right now. And Don Ronco Jr. has not been without his share of action here for tonight.
Yeah, and despite all that, still finds himself in 7th place, having a good battle here with the 66 of Jonathan Lawrence. Man, I can't believe it, but we are almost
Go back up front
laps
here real quick. James Krahula has a really good inside look at Travis McQuestion. As soon as I say it, go figure. He backs off just a little bit, but he's right back there. I think that James Krahula's truck's already starting to get just a touch loose when he really dives it down in there. He had a good look a minute ago, but it looks like he's going to go ahead and fall back off and let those tires cool down before really attacking again, unless Travis McQuestion goes high, which he does, and Krahula continues to try to just sneak his nose down into there. Just can't quite get there. So there we go. Jeff Ward still up in front by over a half a second now, and then followed closely behind him by Travis McQuestion, James Krahula, and you see Tyler Dalton back there in 4th position. We can't negate the fact, we've talked about Brian Yazik and his 4 wins. We can't forget the fact that Jeff Ward has 7 wins out of 11 starts here this season.
Yeah, he and still not at the top of the points. But you know what? The best way to get there is to keep winning races, right? And Ward just seems to keep finding victory lane week after week. Certainly not easy for me to say. But Yazik's going to have a chance here. Now I know we've only got 48 laps left this time around, but he's the other first truck a lap down. So if he can hold that spot, then he's going to be in good shape to get another lucky dog if we get a couple more cautions.
Yeah, he's going to need a lot of help, though, and right now things have calmed down for the most part, but one battle to watch right there on your screen. Jonathan Lawrence, Jeff Ryan going at. Jeff Ryan had a very solid look on the inside there of Jonathan Lawrence just a second ago. Can't quite do anything with it. Going back a little bit back behind these guys, I do want to point out we still have Don Runkle Jr. and Rick Thompson and now John Wilco getting involved in this, and not only that are they involved in a battle here, they're also trying to figure out a way around the lap truck of Woodrow Mahan up there as well, who is running 13 laps down in that 00. I mean, excuse me, in the 12 truck. Don Runkle Jr., of course, in the 00.
Yeah, and Woody running that Budweiser truck. Oh, and Don gets up in the wall.
And Rick Thompson had to really back off and stay out of him right there.
Yeah, Rick was already getting a run at him, and he literally had to get on the binders to just slow it down to stay off of Runkle there. Now Runkle going to try and fight back from the top side. I don't see it happening. Runkle really having trouble with that truck, the front end, pretty beat up on it, not handling very well. Obviously, Rick able to finally complete the pass. Now he's got to worry about Wilco here. Wilco certainly wants to try and complete that pass too. Don back to 8th.
Don't forget, Rick Thompson started this race in 4th position. He'd like to get back up there and show that that United States Air Force Toyota Tundra has something for him here for tonight. So the first step of that's going to be is trying to get around this lap truck of Mahan. He's going to get a good look in the inside. Mahan's going to stay high and get off the gas and let him by. So Rick Thompson is clear of that, so he can start setting his eyes on Jeff Ryan, who is a little bit more than a second ahead of him.
Okay.
And speaking of Jeff Ryan, should mention, since we were following it a little while ago, that battle between him and Jonathan Lawrence did break up, as now the gap between them is about a second. And you can already see how much faster they're on your screen, how fast Rick Thompson's already trying to run him down.
Let's see what Rick's got here. Yeah, it's right now I'm watching Yazik's progress.
And he is nowhere near as fast as what he was. In fact, he's getting ready to go 3 laps down here in a moment.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm afraid that's probably going to happen here. I just think Brian probably picked up a little bit too much damage there in that front end. He's just trying to wheel this thing out and try and finish with a decent points finish.
Yeah, you know, because you got to remember those top 10s are important at this stage of the race, and especially with James Krahula right now running in 3rd position. He's going to need every single point that he can get to prevent James Krahula trying to run away for at least a little bit. But this has been a crazy season for these guys, so anything can, and well, for the sake of the matter, probably will happen over the remaining races of this season. So you can see that battle there with your top 3, the gap between them pretty much remaining the same. If anything, Travis McQuistion finally starting to run up a little bit on your leader, Jeff Ward. But we're back now to the battle with 6th and 7th with Jeff Ryan and Rick Thompson. And Rick Thompson ran Jeff Ryan down, no problem at all, almost like he was standing still. And on top of that, running Jonathan Lawrence down, we see them just in front of those guys. So Rick Thompson right now, a little bit loose, probably running the tires off the thing. He's running so fast right now, one of the faster cars on the racetrack.
Yeah, let's go on board here. Rick Thompson just behind the 88 there.
You just see him. He has to turn that wheel just a little bit more to the left than what he wanted to stay out of him.
Yeah.
And ended up having the back end break loose. There's trouble. But he's able to recover, and I'm sure he'll be back on the attack here in just a moment on Jeff Ryan, and then set his sights on Jonathan Lawrence.
I think our leader, Jeff Ward, is starting to hate that decision for 2 tires right now. McQuistion just giving him a mirror full right now. Keeps making charges at him. Ward able to be just defensive enough to prevent him making a move, but I think Jeff is struggling on those tires right now. I really do. I can't help but to think that that decision might not be the best. Now, you still got to pass him.
Well, they got quite a bit of lap traffic that they're getting ready to hit up here, too. So, complexion of this race could very well change. If I'm Travis McQuistion right now, I'm just trying to stay patient, just trying to get around the lap traffic before let Jeff Ward burn off what's left of those left side tires. So there they go. You'll see him working around the lap truck here of Fred Thompson, and actually loses a little bit of time. Travis McQuistion is able to get somewhat of a look on the outside, but ends up losing time because of Fred Thompson as well. And then they got John Wilco up here as well, who is not in itself a slow truck here for tonight. So but he's already signaling to him that he's going to let them pass left. So look for John Wilco to go to the high side. Travis McQuistion dives to the inside. He's going to take a look. He can't get it to stick quite yet. Jeff Ward's going to get the run off the corner. And wow, Travis McQuistion got loose really bad. Slaps the rear end against the inside wall, but he's able to keep going. That looked a lot like Yazik's incident earlier on.
Well, I'll tell you what, great save there by McQuistion. Now it's James Krahula up front here. Look at this replay. You see him just sawing logs there on that wheel. Ay, ay, ay. Great job.
with a little bit of an assist from the inside concrete to straighten him out. But James Krahula is really getting hungry here. He's back going, diving below that yellow line, trying to do something with your leader, Jeff Ward, right now as they make their way through the lap traffic. You see them getting ready to go around Don Runkle Jr. here in just a second. As there goes Don Runkle on the outside. Oh! And is that McQuestion? I think McQuestion finally got the wall. Yellow on the speedway.
Yeah, he did, and I think he got maybe a little bit of help there. Might have been from John Wilco. Let's look at it on the replay, see exactly what might have happened. Coming off the turn here. Yeah, Wilco got a little bit of a run, had momentum. McQuestion right there, they make that just little, it just didn't match. The bumpers didn't match up well.
Yeah, and it's ever so slight. It just doesn't take much right there because the truck is just so light. And around goes Travis McQuestion with significant front end damage on his machine.
Did you? You know what? And I did hear John say he didn't pick up an incident for that. I'm wondering if there was any contact, or you know what? It very well may have been a slight bit of net code is what we're dealing with here. And these short tracks like this, high rate of speed in the turn, very, very possible. I think that's exactly what might have happened. There might have been some net code based on what Wilco said.
And, of course, John Wilco out in front of the field here. Not only that, but I think he might take the wave around here, and I think Fred Thompson's looking to take the wave around as well. I think he would have been awarded the lucky dog if he wasn't in that position. So I think, since they both took the wave around and didn't pit, I think that Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog, if it's awarded, nope, he's on pit road. It will not go to Brian Yazik. So I do not think we're going to have a Coastal Safety Auditor's lucky dog on this particular caution here. So, and again, the complexion of the race changes.
Now, let's look with Tyler Dalton and what he did. Now we're going to get restarted with about 18 laps to go. No, about 17 laps to go. Tyler Dalton did not pit. He's still out on track. Boy, that's a big gamble. His truck is pretty straight. He's got a little bit of damage on the left front. But is that the call? Is that the winning call right there? Can he hold off Jeff Ward and James Krahula?
We've got 19 laps to go, and if I'm not mistaken, I think he came on the radio a minute ago and said, I meant to pit, but I didn't. So, I don't know. You never know how much truth is in on that. But Tyler Dalton's going to have his hands full here at the start of this race. He's going to be hoping for a very quick caution here to be able to maybe come down pit road, I'm betting. So be watchful. The guys behind him need to be watching for that tire spin as the lights are off on the pace car. We're going to be going back to green here in just a second. There we go. Tyler Dalton gets a pretty good jump on Jeff Ward, but already going through turns 1 and 2, we can see that those guys behind him already a little bit faster. Jeff Ward's going to dive to the inside. He can't hold it quite down there just the way he wants it to, but with those better tires that drive off is just so much more.
Yeah.
Jeff Ward is able to edge out in front, edged him at the line just ever so slightly.
And Krahula almost got Ward around there, ran up on him, got right up to his bumper, and then backed off. Now Krahula is the one side by side with Dalton. Can't waste a whole lot of time here fighting with Dalton. Wants to get around Ward. He's going to have to get going here with just 15 laps to go.
If James Krahula can somehow pull this off, we weren't expecting to have him here tonight. He showed up 5 minutes before the race starts, qualifies, and does practice laps as the qualifying session wears down. That's all he got, and here he is running second in this Frosty Pop Racing Chevrolet Silverado, and he's having himself a whale of a night here with Jeff Ward now in the lead. Could James Krahula sneak one away for his first win of the season?
We'll see. It's my understanding James is not able to be here on time. It's a very tough training schedule right now as he's training for the 2018 Tour de France. And he was very, very busy. And so there you have it. He's here racing, and now he's racing for a win. Man, I don't know. Jeff Ford looks pretty strong right now. James can get there, but can he pass him? It's that old, trying to milk the rooster.
Thompson's in the inside wall.
Oh, boy. Yeah, and Thompson that truck gets a little loose off. He was fighting with Tyler Dalton.
Yeah, he lost a couple of spots. Now he's running alongside Jeff Ryan, who we saw him chase down not too long ago. Now he's having to pass him again, and then he's got the damaged truck up there as well as Travis McQuestion, who is currently running in 5th position. So, tell you what, here, Sean, these trucks, they definitely look like they've been through a short track race here tonight.
Yeah, short track racing at its finest. Tell you what, I'm pretty happy with what Tyler Dalton's doing right now, though. He has managed to hang on to a podium spot. Jonathan Lawrence really trying to get there. Jonathan Lawrence actually one of the few trucks on the track that I'm not seeing very much damage on. He's got a little bit maybe on the right front, but aside from that, that's a pretty clean truck.
So 7 laps to go. What kind of moves do we have here? We've got somebody that's, hasn't won all season in second. We've got somebody that's won 7 times this season in the lead. Do we see a move toward the tail end of this race? A little bit of chrome horn action. We're going to find out in just a little bit because these 6 laps are going to go by really quick.
No.
James Kahula is right underneath him. He's trying to do whatever he can to look around Jeff.
Oh, no.
Caution on the speedway.
Oh, and it's McQuestion around coming out of 4. Oh, man.
And I think that's going to end it.
Man. Boy, and I'm going to take this from our director, but it sure looked like James is getting ready to drop back and throw the Hail Mary there. Yeah, boy.
And then the strategy call ends up working out for Tyler Dalton. If this thing is indeed over, he's going to finish 3rd. And I do believe it's over. Usually with these short track races, you get a caution with 5 to go. It's usually over. We won't officially say it until we don't see those lights go off on the pace car here with 2 to go. So we'll know here in just a second for sure, but there is no quick caution mechanism here. So very likely Jeff Ward is going to be declared the winner of the SoBo 150 here for tonight. I got to say, almost an anticlimactic end for a very exciting race that we had here tonight.
Well, I'll tell you, it was. It really was. And, it's over a lot quicker than I thought it would be, too. And James Kahula coming back on saying we're not going back green, but I'll let iRacing determine that. We'll call it when we call it, James. Thank you. But in all seriousness, even with the caution flags we had some great racing out there. It was a couple of good side-by-side battles throughout the race, and Jeff Ward having to do a little bit of work after having a little bit of misfortune, which how many times have we seen Jeff Ward have trouble, and he found it tonight and still prevails. Kept going and worked his way back up and took advantage of a caution. But here we go with the white flag unfurled and coming around one last time at him.
Yeah, coming around at the amazing speed of 40 miles an hour. We're working our way through turn 3, slowly working our way through turn 4. If James Kahula wants to try a bump and run, I would not recommend it because you'll get a penalty under caution. Coming across the line with the spin and win is going to be, for the 11th time this year, Jeff Ward. James Kahula 2nd, Tyler Dalton 3rd, Jonathan Lawrence 4th, Rick Thompson bringing that Air Force truck home in 5th. Oh, excuse me, 8th win. I was looking at his top 10 stats. It's 11th top 10 of the year. So with that, we see the fireworks go off at South Boston Speedway. And when we come back here in a few minutes, we'll run down your final order as well as talk to a couple of the guys and see what they thought about tonight's race. We'll be right back. And what a crazy race at South Boston with the PRL American Pool Supply Truck Series here tonight. And coming home with the win under caution with the spin and win, you'll find at the P1 spot, Jeff Ward, that 89 machine. James Kahula coming home in second. Tyler Dalton with his own problems, able to recover and did not stop at that last caution before the one that ended the race. He's able to retain third position. Jonathan Lawrence in fourth. Rick Thompson bringing that Air Force truck home in fifth. John Ryan in sixth position. Don Runkle Jr. coming home in seventh. John Wilco, great run for him here for it tonight, coming home in eighth position. Travis McQuestion running into some problems there at the tail end. He'll come home the last car on the lead lap in ninth spot. And then Fred Thompson in 10th. Sean?
All right, let's go down to 11th, and it's going to be Brian Yazik with that position tonight. Stephen Herring, 12th. John Rodden. Now, John, the father of Justin Rodden, we'll get to Justin in just a moment. John finishes 13th. Then it's Woody Mahan with the 14th place finish. Jeff Gow, 15th. Paul Pepper in 16th, and Justin Rodden, son of Father John Rodden, competing for his first time tonight, takes the big L there to Dad. So Justin in 17th, Brad Collins 18th, Bobby Mikas 19th. That completes the field as Scott Eckridge never even took a lap. He was up in race control, minding everybody's business for him.
Yeah, and of course, we brought it up a few minutes ago. The one I feel really bad for out of all that, Paul Pepper had himself a great truck, and then something weird happened. Not even sure what, but obviously his night was ended. But one guy that's night was definitely not ended here tonight, and he was able to come back from a lot of adversity. That's going to be Jeff Ward getting back up front and a little bit of pit strategy, and Sean Ambrose has caught up with him.
Jeff, congratulations on another win, my friend. How you feeling right now?
Yeah, thanks, Sean. Feel good, man. Like I said, to keep the ball rolling as long as we can. That was an up and down night there. We got off to a good start and then got in some traffic there. And I don't know if I come down on Travis or if he just turned me there. I'll have to go back and watch the replay. But I'm glad I was able to bounce back from that. Took a two-tire stop there, and two tires, to me, they felt like they were even better than four tires. So I don't know if it's something that the sim did to change that, but I know they have been changing something, because that high line was obviously on fire tonight too, and that's not something we've seen a whole lot of. So that was fun. James was real good up there, and it come right down to the wire there. I think if it wasn't for that caution, he was going to be able to get a run on me either on the high side or under me there, and it would have been a battle. But caution kind of saved us, and yeah, got another one, man.
Yeah, well, James certainly looked like he was getting ready to send it on you, buddy. It might have ended in tears for both of you, but unfortunately we get that late caution, and we'll never know. But we do know that you won the race, and our director actually sharing with me that actually the last in this latest build, they actually did fix a bug with the dynamic track, so that very well could be why that upper middle line there was so good tonight, Jeff. And I'll tell you, someone who may disagree with you on the two-tire strategy might be Tyler Dalton, because, boy, it certainly didn't work out for him, whether it had been intentional or not. You seem to really take advantage of that there at the end.
Well, I think he had a lot of damage, it looked like, when I was racing with him there. It looked like his right front might have been caved in, so that might have affected his speed a little bit and tightened the car up. But it felt good to me. Of course, I was playing with my brake bias, trying to equal it all out, because it was wanting to try to come around on corner entry. But so I had to play with it. But two tires felt good, and if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't have been able to go from back to back, straight up back to the front and get that track position. So I'm glad that worked out. It could have been a disaster if it didn't work out, because I didn't practice it a whole lot in practice. But yeah, that being able to run up high, man, that's awesome. I'd like to see more of that at more tracks. That's really adds a lot of strategy to it, and the good drivers kind of rise to the top when they can go out and find their own lines, and I think it just adds a whole new dynamic to it.
Well, you're going to get a couple more chances to check that out as we head to New Hampshire. I think it is next, and then we've got another short track right after that, if I remember correctly. So, a couple more weeks of trying to figure out if we can get multiple lines going here on these short tracks, buddy.
Yeah, I think we're going to Richmond. I hope that's what it is, because that's what I've been practicing here and there. So, but New Hampshire's cool too. I like Richmond and New Hampshire. So, hopefully they're back to back, because I'm kind of a short track guy, so that'd be cool too.
Well, hey Jeff, congratulations! Never gets old talking to you, buddy. Wish you the best, and we'll see you next week, my friend. Or, well, no, we'll see you later this week on Thursday night, I'm sure.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. And Adam, that was Jeff Ward. And for coming and interviewing with us, he gets absolutely nothing, unfortunately, but the admiration of the fans and these broadcasters.
Yeah, and of course, I just want to let everybody know, because the schedule did come up. It is indeed New Hampshire next, and then we go to Dover. So what's happening is that we're gradually warming them back up to the bigger tracks. So we'll see what happens. But we do got Iowa also coming up sometime in October too, which will be another short track. And obviously everybody likes racing at Iowa. That should be a pretty exciting time. But here we've been able to catch up with James Krahula, who has also been waiting patiently with us here, just waiting for his turn to talk. And James Krahula coming away with another good points night, able to extend his lead on Brian Yazik by another 9 points, now up 16 points on Yazik, and now 50 points up on Tyler Dalton. James, great run for second, and you came in right at the last second. You were able to overcome that and come home with just a great race up front most of the night. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I need to start cutting these so close, but showed up. First lap was in for qualifying. We somehow had a good run. Tried to figure out the track and everything from there. This is one of those tracks that iRacing doesn't have a default setup for, so it was definitely a tighter setup here tonight, but Scott Eckridge did an amazing job with it. I mean, you saw where we're able to run. We had people up next to the wall. We had people on the apron. That was just one heck of a fun race. I didn't know that South Boston could be raced that way. It was great.
Now, Jeff Ward brought up a good point about the high line here, and it seemed like you were experimenting a little bit with the high line, but you, for the most part, seemed like you really stuck to the low line, sometimes the super low line, diving below the yellow line. That's a lot of lines in one sentence right there. But what was your thought process as far as that? Were you just trying to do something different than anybody else was doing?
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to go anywhere if you're running the same line as everyone else. So down early, everyone was kind of running, I don't know, I just kind of ended up on the low line. It seemed to work out really well, and guys would gradually move a little bit further up the track. So I tried to make that low line work. When I was getting to Jeff there at the end, and same thing with Travis. Those guys were hooked up and they were ready to go, and I couldn't do anything to try and get around them. So I gravitate up to the high side to see if I could make something happen. Just ran out of time twice, but still, I'm tired of finishing second to Jeff Ward at these short track races. We have a lot of really good short track races with each other, and I'll get them one of these days.
Well, and before we get to the new points here in just a second, we talked a little bit during the race. I'm going to step away from racing for a second, and we talked a little bit about Irma and how our thoughts are with everybody in Florida here for today, and also Harvey with everything in South Texas. I'd like you to share, if you would, what you were doing and why you were late to today's race.
You didn't tell me we were going to talk about this. No, I just got back up from Houston. One of my buddies called me on Thursday, someone that he knows from his work, just needed help. And so went down there, tried to take care of her house and everything, get it cleaned up, and went around. And, I mean, Harvey is, it absolutely destroyed that town. So find out what you could do if you're nearby, go down and help out. They still need hands, and they're going to, with flood victims, they need help for a long time, many, many months. So if you're down nearby, go down and help out. If you're not, find a good charity to donate to, try and help these people out. I mean, it was just pure. It was really sad going down there and seeing all that firsthand and the damage that was done down there. Those guys are definitely going to need help for a while. Same with Florida. Hoping that the storm subsides and doesn't do much damage down there, but we know that everyone in Florida is probably going to need some help as well. So remember, we're all neighbors and everything. Help each other out. We'll get through all this type of stuff. So again, go help out with however you can, if it's in person or monetary or whatever you need to do.
Well, James, really appreciate you doing that, but I appreciate you, unexpectedly, on your part, bringing that up, and just want to, kind of let people know about the real world aspect of things here too. So with that, let's talk about the point standings here real quick. We're going to get to Tyler Dalton here in just a second, but the new point standings are out. We mentioned that James Kahula coming home with a 16-point lead now over Brian Yazek. Entered the race with 7 points, and he's able to extend that just a little bit. We also entered tonight's race with Tyler Dalton out there as well. I believe, if I can find it here, going into the race he was 46 points back. Now he's 50 points back, so he only lost 4 points, so he's still in the hunt now, as we've still got quite a few races to go through to try to make up that little bit of a gap, but the gap is widening from about 4th on back as well. So with that, I think, Sean, why don't you go ahead and catch up with Tyler Dalton, who finished 3rd tonight and also now 3rd still in the point standings.
Tyler Dalton, congratulations on a podium finish, buddy. Did you mean to take just 2 tires there?
Oh, I didn't take 2 tires. I stayed out, and
I'm sorry. No, that's what I meant to ask you. Did you mean to stay out there? Was that intentional, or did you miss the entry?
Oh, that was completely unintentional. I was sitting there trying to decide what I wanted to do. I decided I wanted to take 2 tires there. I was messing with my tires. Next thing I know, there goes pit road. So I'm thrilled to be able to hold on to 3rd there. Sort of kicking myself, because I think if I'd had 2, I may have been able to stay up there with those guys. But then again, with the damage I had, I don't know, but I would have liked to have tried.
Well, buddy, you know what? In a tight points race, you find yourself, on the podium, and that's really where you need to be. Again, this points race tightening up here as we're coming down the stretch. You get a good run this evening, and now we head to New Hampshire next week, another short track. Is this really shaping up for you here? You got a chance to maybe battle Yazek or Karula up there for this championship?
We'll see. I'm quite a few points back, but all it takes is a few bad races by those guys, and I'm right back in it. Historically, the flat tracks like New Hampshire have been sort of my wheelhouse, so we'll see how that goes. But just speaking of tonight, though, 3rd place, no matter what happened, 3rd place I'm happy with. I thought I had maybe around the 5th place car. The number 19 Chevron Haviland Silverado was good, but not great. And then I got that damage, and it just didn't quite seem the same after that. So to be able to finish 3rd, that was a great finish.
Well, Tyler, certainly good to see you have another great run. We'll see you again Thursday night. Now, listen, I know you're up in the Carolinas there. You're probably going to get some bad weather here over the next couple of days. You guys stay safe, and we'll see you Thursday night here on the Global Sim Racing channel.
All righty, will do. Thank you.
All right, Adam, and that is Tyler Dalton, driver of the Haviland number 19, and a great run for him this evening. Can't complain about a podium finish and a good points night.
No, you really can't, and obviously for the guys that had really good nights, there was a couple of guys that had some really rough nights that were looking like they were going to have good nights. Brought up Paul Pepper a couple times, Brian Yazek, of course, and things did not go right for those guys. But such is the case with short track racing, and we mentioned it amongst ourselves, Sean, that the trucks tonight definitely looked like they had been in a short track race. Do you got any final thoughts before we close out here?
As far as the race goes, I think we saw a really good one tonight. I'm looking forward to getting to New Hampshire next week. It's one of my favorite tracks, period. Whether it be a short track, an intermediate, or a super speedway, it's a classic joint, and you always love getting to that track. And Modified's been running there forever, which are close to my heart. So that'll be fun. And secondly, and probably first, I'm thinking about everybody there in Florida. Like I said earlier, we got so many friends in harm's way. I failed to even mention our camera guru, Dougie Beard, who has already been displaced by this. I hope, Dougie, if you're somehow watching, we hope you're out there somewhere out of harm's way right now. And again, to everyone out there, and listen, there are plenty that aren't watching. They may see this sometime in the future. Just know that our thoughts are with you, and we hope all goes well through the night.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think everybody kind of knows somebody that's been impacted here today by Irma, and of course, the 2 weeks ago by Harvey, and obviously, as the story from James Kahula, obviously those impacts still going on. So definitely thoughts and prayers go with all those folks, as they will for quite some time. And don't forget to keep a cautious eye on the Atlantic with Jose still spinning out there, although I'm hoping and praying that thing just spins itself out in the Atlantic there. And that's the meteorologist and me talking. So as we step away from racing, we go back to our real lives and real world and everything else until the next time we get to be able to be distracted by some virtual cars on a virtual racetrack. We want to be able to just thank the Premier Racing League for putting on the American Pool Supply Truck Series, and also thanks to the software and hardware that we use for our broadcasts. You can see they're listed on your screen. Also thanks to our musical contributors Eric Eckel and Case Lalonde, whose music you can find at the websites listed. For more information about future races, you can see the list there on your screen, and then you can also go to our YouTube channel. You'll be able to find out our past broadcasts. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook.com/Global Sim Racing Channel. The next time we'll be on the air with the American Pool Supply Truck Series from the Premier Racing League is September 17th for round 23. We continue our little short track run up because it'll be a mile track, but it drives like a short track. We're going to New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We hope to see you there at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Hey, congrats again to Jeff Ward for the 8th time here for the season. For Dougie Beard, stay safe, buddy. Joe Peak, Sean Ambrose, I'm Adam Young. Race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.